Hello friends, in the series on the income tax cases, today we will discuss the case of HP Nursing Registration Council versus Principal Commissioner of Income Tax. This case has been reported in 455 ITR at page number 512. Matter has been decided by Himachal Pradesh High Court and the date of the judgment is 25th May 2022. In this case, the assessee is registered under HP Nursing Registration Council Act 1977 and the purpose of the assessee is to regulate the registration of nursing and allied staff and to educate them for the higher standards of professionalism in the nursing staff. During the assessment year 10-11, the assessee received a grant in aid from the Government of India, but the weak point of the assessee was that the assessee was not registered under section 12AA for that particular year. So, when the assessing officer was doing the assessment of the assessee for the assessment year 10-11, the assessing officer was of the view that since the assessee is not registered under section 12AA and it is a contribution received by the assessee, so the assessing officer taxed that Government of India grant under section 2 clause 24 clause II by holding it as a voluntary contribution. The assessee moved to the CIT appeal. CIT appeal rejected the appeal of the assessee. The assessee moved to the ITAT and the assessee also lost its appeal in the ITAT also. When this matter came to the Himachal Pradesh High Court, Himachal Pradesh High Court examined the facts and held that in this case, the grant in aid have been received by the assessee from the Government of India and the assessee has to deposit that amount into a separate bank account and the assessee cannot expend this amount according to the sweet will of the assessee but according to the instructions of the Government of India. And in that instruction, it was mentioned that the assessee has to expend a major portion for the repair to the building and for acquiring some assets, that is for the capital expenditure, and some amount was to be expended for the routine expenses like the salary of the staff. But it was clear that it was for the specific purpose. The Himachal Pradesh High Court also examined section 2 clause 24 clause 18 which says that if an assessee receives any assistance from the central government or the state government in any form, whether it is in the form of assistance or grant in aid, then it will be taxable in the hands of the assessee. But there are some exceptions. Like the exception is that if the assessee receives a corpus donation, if a corpus fund which is regulated by the central government or the state government, then it will not be covered by the section 2 clause 24 clause 18. And section 2 clause 24 clause 18 has been introduced with effect from 1st April 2016. So the High Court interpreted this clause in a manner that if this clause has been introduced since 1st April 2016 and in that clause it is mentioned that it is taxable from this date, so the interpretation can be brought that the amount which has been received prior to that date cannot be taxed, because in this case the relevant assessment year was 10-11 and the amendment which has been brought in section 2 clause 24 was with effect from 1st April 2016. So by drawing the analogy from that clause, that is section 2 clause 24 clause 18, the Himachal Pradesh High Court held in this case that the grant in aid received by the Government of India by the assessee is not a revenue receipt and it is a capital receipt and it is not taxable in the hands of the assessee. Friends, this case is little bit technical. Although if we read section 2 clause 24 clause 18 and section 2 clause 24 clause II, then the cogent reading of both the clauses can attract the case of the assessee into the definition of the income, because the weak point of the assessee was that the assessee was not covered by section 12AA registration during the previous year. But in this case, the court also said that the purpose of the grant in aid is to be seen, for which purpose it is received. If it is received for a specific purpose, then it cannot be held as a revenue receipt. At the end of this video, once again I am repeating the name of the case. The name of the case is HP Nursing Registration Council versus Principal Commissioner of Income Tax, and this case has been reported in 455 ITR at page number 512. The matter has been decided by Himachal Pradesh High Court and the date of the judgment is 25th May 2022.